Hey there, it's Pete with GC Turf. Hope you're having a great day today. And this is video number 4 of 4, where I've been doing a little series on the different big sprinkler sleds. I had just a whole lot of folks ask me a lot of individual questions about each different sled: the jumbo sled, the rotor sled, the impact sled. And today, this is the Wobble Sled. Now you'll notice in the video it says rotor sled on it. The reason for that, my actual Wobble Sled is at the shop, and I had the wobble head, so I took the rotor off and put the wobble on. They all interchange, but the sled is absolutely identical, other than the sticker on the side of it says Wobble instead of rotor. So I didn't want to confuse you on that. So the way this one works is very similar. Here's your inlet for your water hose. You can see I just got a quick connect on mine. And then on the other end, the same. You can actually take this cap off and extend it out and run 2 in a line, or 3 in a line, or 4 in a line. All depends on your water volume and pressure. You can see the head here. There's the nozzle down in here right there, that white nozzle. The water comes out and goes up. As it spins like this, it kind of makes a wobble action like that, and then your water comes out of these little channels right here on the bottom there, and it creates a pretty cool little pattern. The nozzle's pretty easy to change out. Let me show you how to do that right quick. It's pretty simple. Now you can see in here where the nozzle is, it has like a little circle in there with some ridges on the circle, and I'm just taking a pair of straight up channel lock pliers. I'm going to straddle one of these bars right here, go in there and grab that, hold it firm at the bottom. I'm going to turn it counterclockwise like so, and then once it gets loose enough, you can just finish it up by hand and unscrew it like that, and the whole wobble head assembly comes off. And you can simply take your finger and push the nozzle out like that. Then depending on whichever one you want to use, you simply stick it in and snap it back into place. Get it back in the wobble head like so, put it down there, always tighten it back clockwise, and you can do a pretty fair amount of tightening with your hands, and it'll start to get tight. And then you want to use your channel locks to finish that up. I do want to say, when you start to feel it get snug, do not over tighten it, okay? There's an O-ring in there, and that O-ring is going to keep it from leaking, and you don't want to over tighten that, because you can break it. And yeah, I think they make a dedicated tool that'll fit down in there and fit over those little ridges, those little grooves right there. But I don't have one, so I just use channel locks. So just as a refresher, okay, you know that my irrigation system right here on my yard runs off of my well, not on city water. Yes, we have a city water, county water, municipal water supply, whatever you want to call it, runs under the road and feeds my home. That is actually 3 gallons a minute, 10 to 20 psi roughly. So it's not good. It's not good at all. That is the reason I went on and spent my money beforehand. Instead of paying water bill after water bill after water bill to water the grass, I paid up front and put a well in. And fortunately, I got 28 gallons a minute, and then we put a pressure tank, and I can get about 80 psi. So, you know, the videos where you're seeing me pumping water and it's just rocking and rolling and throwing 60 feet one way using that jumbo sled, I'm using that on my well. And then when my irrigation's running out here in the yard, my underground irrigation system, I'm using that off the well. All that's connected back there, piped in back there. But I wanted to show that the big sprinkler sled lineup, you can use them if you have less than desired water pressure, and that's what I have here at the house. I mean, you know, it is what it is. 3 gallons a minute, 10 to 20 psi, that pretty much sucks, to be honest with you. I mean, it'd be very difficult for me to run a full-blown irrigation system off that water, not to mention the water bill that comes along with that. I did want to show you how all the different sprinklers work off very low water volume and pressure. So let's go out here and hook this one up, and I'll show you how this one works. And again, even in the thickest of turf, it just sits there and does its thing. I absolutely love the sled portion of it because it's weighted and it just kind of just does its thing. It's not going to turn over, not going to flip over or anything like that. It's very sturdy and has a good firm base to it. And I'm basically using just a straight up 5/8 gar nose. This is the cheapest of cheap that you can find and get. I think this is a 50-foot length right here. Of course, I like my little quick connects, and I quick connect it up, go hook it to my water supply and let her rip. And as you can see, there's no adjustment on this. It basically is a circular pattern, and that's it. So if I come over here, it's throwing to about the edge of the grass right here. 11 times 3 is 33. So from one side of the coverage all the way across to the other side of the coverage, roughly 33 feet. That's using 10 to 20 psi and 3 gallons per minute. Now I'm gonna go over and hook up my little booster pump, and then we'll see what happens with it then. So I'm over here at the booster pump. Let's fire this bad boy up. Oh yeah, she's really working now. Now let's walk it off. I'm actually throwing over all the way over here to the other side of my bushes onto my patio, and all the way out here to the road. I'm 51 feet now. So what were we, 33 to 51? I picked up an extra almost 20 feet of area I can cover. So from the pattern on that side all the way over, it's actually throwing in the road over here now, it's 51 feet simply by adding the booster pump. And now with that booster pump, it's actually taking the water I got and magnifying everything so that I can cover a larger area, which is, yeah, it's pretty cool. This would be great to have the kids out in a hot day like today. It's blistering hot, and just come out here and you can run and jump over it, kind of like this. Oh, it's cold. And just for kicks and giggles, let's go out here and hook the Wobble Sled up to my well, and we'll hook up that big booster pump just to see what happens. And yeah, I already put the biggest nozzle in there. Holy cow. So let's see. Let's plug up the pump. So when I'm sitting here looking at it, I'm losing my heavy water droplet, and it's becoming like a fine mist because it's just too much pressure is all it is to it. Matter of fact, it's not even throwing as far without the pump. I mean, it's only throwing to right here. Yeah, that's way too much pressure. All right, so there you go. I got a coupon code for all the big sprinkler sleds. I'll link those up in the description. The booster pump, I don't have a coupon code for that. That's like an Amazon link, but I'll stick that down there for you too, so you can check them out if you want to. So I hope this little 4-part series type thing has been useful to you. Maybe if you was on the fence, didn't know which sled you wanted, if you wanted one, if you don't want one, you know, whatever. I just hope this kind of helps you make up your mind if you decide you want one, that you get the right one that'll work best for the water that you're working with. And at the end of the day, they all put out water, okay? You know, the jumbo and the rotor and the impact are basically fully adjustable, which is really nice to have. And then of course the Wobble Sled, it has no adjustment to it other than the different nozzles you can put in it. Basically waters a circle is what it does. So I think it all depends on the layout of your yard, you know, obviously the amount of water you have. If you're, you know, under that 10 gallon a minute, you probably want to stay away from the jumbo sled. If you're above the 10 gallon a minute, you know, the jumbo sled's probably going to be a good one. And you know, I don't have any numbers in front of me on paper, but I'm just going off of, you know, what I do with them around here. I think if I had to pick one and say it's my absolute favorite, I'd probably go with the rotor sled. My youngest son, when he was a little baby, he'd be laying in there in the living room, and when the ceiling fan would come on, he'd be like, and just fixed on it. You know, little babies do that. That just kind of reminded me of that. You know how dudes are just kind of there one minute and then the next minute they're not. You know, you have moments like that. So anyway, I think the rotor is a good option because it's fully adjustable, can go 360. You can even dial it down to a super narrow area. And the nozzles are, you know, you have lots of nozzle options. So you could actually use it with, you know, something like my home here. It's got 3 gallon a minute and very little water pressure. Or I can simply change the nozzle out and go out there and hook it up to my well with 28 gallon a minute, 80 PSI with my big booster pump. And when I do that, I can actually run the largest nozzle that you can put in this Rainbird 5000 right here, and it will flat out put the water out. Yeah, I think that's why I say the rotor's my favorite. It's just so versatile and covers a lot of different aspects. Again, taking nothing away from any of the other three, all 4 of them are absolutely awesome. And so with that said, I hope this little series has been helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, I appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch. It's hot as fire. I'm gonna go inside and I'll check you later.